I read a headline that there's a lifetime ban on managing any crypto exchange. Is that true? And will you still be investing in crypto projects?
Sure. So there's two. Yeah. So for the first question is based on the best of my knowledge, there's no word saying lifetime or ban. Those two words don't exist in my plea agreement with the government. What is in the agreement is I step down as CEO. I don't think there's any timelines for it. But everything changes. Agreements can be updated with new agreements. Even governments change. But I have no plan to go back to be the CEO. I finally got away from that post, and I think the team's doing a good job. I don't have any need to go back. I don't have any wish to go back. So even today, if I was allowed to go back, I probably won't. So I think the lifetime ban is just a creative journalism, where they invented two words to make them more sensational. Is it wrong? We're not sure. Is it right? Those words was not in the agreement. The agreement is public, so it's a public agreement. So that's to the best of my knowledge. What was your second question?
Will you still be investing in crypto?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So right now I'm really only doing two things. I'm working on Giggle Academy, and then I'm doing investments. Right. So, and then on the investments, there's really three subparts. There's blockchain, there's AI, and there's biotech. So very simple. And those are three big areas. So I no longer want to lead any project myself. I don't think I have the energy to do that anymore. And I'm not as hungry either. No, I'm not as hungry as I was 7 years ago. So now I want to help other entrepreneurs to build their own companies. So I can help them with funding, with advice, with coaching, mentoring, if they want it, with access to other resources, connections, etc. So that's what I want to do. So I think I have a few mentors who I value really strongly, and I would like to become a mentor myself for those who wants to. Yeah.
I'm sure a lot of people in this room would love you as a mentor.
I hope so.
I want to talk about Giggle Academy. I have plenty of questions, but before that, on Altcoin Daily, me and my brother, we speak to an audience of over 3 million across all social platforms, and one of the #1 questions we get is outlook for crypto in 2025. Are you still just as bullish on crypto next year?
Okay, I'll try not to give any financial advice, but and also. History doesn't predict the future, but I cannot predict the future. I can analyze the history. Historically, Bitcoin went through very clear 4-year cycles. So 2013 was like a bull year. 2017 was a bull year. So actually, 2012 was a recovery year. I think most people don't look back that far. And then 2013 was a bull year. 2016 was a recovery year. 2014, 2015 were tough. 2016 was a recovery year, and then 2017 went all the way over, and then 2020 was a recovery year, and then 2021 was a bull year, and this year now we're kind of back to the previous all-time highs. So like 2024 is a recovery year based on the current analysis or based on the current prices. Next year, I don't know what's going to happen, but overall, though, long term for the industry, I think there's so much more that has to be built, that needs to be built, and that will be built. So I think the industry will get bigger. More and more people will use crypto. And with more people use crypto, the utility value will increase. So long term, I'm still very, very bullish. Short term, it's very hard to predict.
What aspects, in a couple sentences, what aspects of crypto are you most bullish on? Is it DeSci? Is it meme coins?
Well, actually, I wouldn't go that specific because it's very difficult to predict like that specifically, like which one's going to be the next one. Beginning of 2017, I probably could not have said ICOs is the next thing. But by June, the trend was clear. By July, we launched the platform. By December, we're the largest platform. So I think it's depends on which projects explode in those niche or in those small sectors. I think all of those have have potential to grow. Right now, like I'm meeting a lot of founders. This morning, I met founders who are using AI with a very interesting integration with blockchain, ideas I never thought about. Right. So if any one of those projects take off, that sector will become big. So it's very hard to predict. But I'm just trying to support all the builders in the space, and then see what happens. Yeah.
Let's talk about legislation. I want to pick your brain. How do you see legislation today, and also where's it going as a guy in the space?
Well, I think currently today, the regulations are improving. And in some countries like here, they're improving fast. In other countries, many of them are, especially in bigger countries, they tend to move slower. Bigger countries do move slower. There are more departments, more people to discuss, etc. But overall, I think it's actually moving in a very positive direction. I'll give you another example, right? Just personal feelings. A week before I was sentenced, in middle April of this year, Elizabeth Warren declares a war on crypto. This is like a week before my sentencing. And then the judge sentences me, and then I went to prison. And then by June, Donald Trump is pro-crypto. By end of June, both parties are pro-crypto. I'm still sitting in prison. I'm like, what the, what the hell happened? So should I have just waited for two months? So it shows that now but that basically shows that the people want crypto. When the people want crypto, then the government have to respond. So I think it's moving in the right direction.
I live in the U.S. That's my POV, and crypto is very much an election issue. In your opinion, Harris or Trump, who do you think is better for crypto?
I have no idea. So I will not comment on any election topics because right now I got enough trouble with the U.S. laws. I know they have an election interference law, so anything I say publicly could be taken out of context, so I don't want to touch it. So now I don't even want to get close to the line. I don't even want to see the line. So I just want to stay as far away as possible. Yeah. So no comments. I think both parties are pro-crypto. That's fantastic.
I love it. I respect it. And I love it. Yeah, give it up. As we look to legislation and regulation in the future, again, I have a U.S. point of view. What's one policy or one piece of legislation that you think is super important?
Well, I think the most fundamental one is actually just classification of crypto, right? So now there's so many debates about, in most other countries, they just treat it as money. Japan recognizes Bitcoin as a currency. Many other countries recognize Bitcoin as crypto as a currency. But of course, there are different types of cryptos. It depends on the coin, I guess. But I think in the US, that's like kind of the large debate right now. And again, I won't comment too much. There are ongoing lawsuits with SEC, et cetera. Yeah.
CZ, final questions as we wrap up. I want to talk about Bitcoin, and of course, I want to know about Giggle Academy. Yeah. But let's just say, 1 year from now, you and I are at Binance Blockchain Week 2025. We're on this stage. Doesn't have to be about price, but where will Bitcoin be / crypto?
A year from now, 1 year is really hard to predict. But I think there's a high chance that the future follows the history. So then we will be in a pretty good place.
All right. I love it. CZ, what's next for you?
Yeah, so I'm spending like at least half of my time on Giggle Academy now. And I think it's a super interesting project. And I think it's a super impactful project. It's not going to be a very profitable project. Right now,
can you define it for somebody who's never heard of it? What is Giggle Academy?
Yeah, so it's basically an educational platform that's delivered digitally for people who don't have access to education. That's it. That's really it. Yeah.
Love that.
Thanks. So today there's about 700 to 800 million adults who who are illiterate, and 2/3 of them are women. And then on top of that, there's about, depending on which report you read, there's about 300 million to 500 million kids who don't go to school. So together we have like 1.2, 1.3 billion people who don't have access to education. And these are all in the very poor parts of the world, et cetera. And when you look at the educational apps, educational projects, they're all in places where there are already education, right? So they're all supplementing the existing education system. I'm like, well, now I believe with the technologies we have today, with game developers, graphic designers, teachers, and AI, if we can combine them, we can make apps or tools that can deliver education to kids and to people who who needs them and we don't need a teacher to deliver it. So we can just have, because teachers are expensive, right? In those areas, they don't have teachers. If we need to get teachers there, then it will take forever. So but now we can just deliver that digitally through a very interactive app, most likely on Android, because Android is cheaper in those areas. I think if we can help 100 million people to get educated, I think that is a super impactful thing for me to do. And I don't care if there's any returns. And also, I actually don't think it will take that much money. No. So I think if you think about it, right, today, out of 8 billion people, there's probably 1 billion people who's in school learning something every day, right? And then with a classroom setting with 30-to-1 ratio or 50-to-1 ratio, there's probably 20 million teachers in the world at any given time. But then if you think about it, how many different ways are there to teach grade 1 English, right? And we're repeating this millions of times a day. How many different ways are there to teach grade 1 math? If we can capture that and then put that in an app and then put AI in there and then have it being super interactive, being able to answer questions, the upfront investment may be high. It may take a few $1 million. I think the first course will take more, but the future courses, once we get the AI engine working, then 1 million per course, right? So 12 grades, 12 million, 30 subjects, 300 million, right? Wow. So let's give it a huge amount of buffer, $1 billion. I think we can create all the education material that needs to be in existence today, and plus languages. So we cover like 500 languages, right? So then there'll be a bit more, but it takes like maximum, I think, a couple $2 billion to get all of this done. The U.S. Government spent each year $100 billion on education, right? So this is like a 2% of what the annual spend is. So I think with a very small amount of money, relatively speaking, we can provide education to kids who don't have access to it. We may actually be able to do it better than the in-person delivery. There's a lot of limitations with the in-person delivery. In a classroom of 30 people, a smart kid are taught at the same rate as the lowest common denominator. If you're really good in math and bad in English, then well, you don't spend time on math anymore. You spend more time on English. So then you don't get the individualized teaching. Whereas through a platform, the platform can dynamically adjust the curriculum so that you jump through areas where you have strength. And then once we can collect a lot of this data, then we can put the kids into jobs very quickly, right? So kids from 8 years old can do AI tagging, and that's a decent paying job. My nephew, who's like 14 years old now, from 12 years old, he was managing a community of like 14,000 game players, like for a flight simulator, right? And then kids 16 years old can do customer support for Binance, like the basic stuff, what's an address, how do you deposit, etc. And 15, 16-year-old, they can be game testers, they can be coders, etc. So I want to get kids jobs early. I'm not trying to get them university degrees or high school degrees. It's jobs. Right, and once we have the education data, we can help the employers to find them. Right, so this kid is like 90 percentile in math, and he's done this many projects. This other kid have high EQ, and he's volunteered to tutor younger kids through the platform, etc. So we can make this work for kids and get them jobs early, and then this will help their families, and then this will help their other siblings and their other families to get more educated. So I think there's a lot we can do, and yeah, so I think this disadvantage in having an electronic digital delivery where there's less human touch, but there's also advantages in doing that. We will make up the lack of human touch by, my current idea is to have the older kids tutor or interact with the younger kids. So PE, right? So physical education. It's very hard to do online. But the platform can organize PE classes where the 15-year-old kids can lead the 7-year-old kids to do stuff. And the 15-year-old kids gets points or gets credit. And then when employers want to come and hire people, this guy will be picked first. Right? So there's many different dynamics that we can build into this platform. But the first problem I need to crack, or we need to crack right now, is getting the AI to produce consistent videos. It's a very simple thing. Well, it's a very simple but not cracked problem for AI. So today the teachers can create content very quickly. They have all the content. They can create PowerPoints, but those contents are designed for the teacher to deliver themselves. But without, well, we are operating in an environment where there's no teachers. So we need the platform to deliver it, or the app to deliver it. Then in that case, to attract young kids, to get them glued to the screen, which many parents don't want to do here, but in this case, we actually need to do it. We need very interactive videos, animations, and really cutesy stuff. That's what the teacher's not good at. So this is where the AI can come in. So right now, none of the AI models generate this well. I've talked to a lot of very prominent AI guys, and we're trying to solve this problem. But this problem is very easily foreseen to be solvable within the next few months, few years max. So I'm trying to crack that problem, and then we can deliver content digitally. And then we can reach, hopefully, hundreds of millions or billions of kids or people around the world and give them free education.
I love it. Guys, round of applause for that. 2 more questions. I do have 2 more questions. In the future, will any aspect of Giggle Academy be Web3 or on the blockchain? And I think I speak for everybody in this room. Will there be an airdrop to farm?
Short term is no. I don't want to get involved in another token, a new token, etc. So we may support all the other tokens already out there. Bitcoin, Ethereum, BNB, whatever else. I think we'll do that first. They are building incentive structures for this to work. For a token in this system to work, but we may not need to issue our own token. So, for example, we can say, look, if Binance wants to hire customer support, from these guys, or community forum managers. They can sponsor some BNB, and then we can use this to pay for kids, etc. If an AI company another thing I just discovered today is AI company actually exactly how much AI company pay for training data. They pay a lot for human-generated data. On this platform, if we say, look, we get the kids and their parents to consent that they are willing to give their data to train AI. So when they learn how to pronounce apple, mom, dad, and also when they learn math, what kind of progress they go through. If the kids consent to give, or the kids' parents consent to give those data to training AI, they can get paid anywhere between $10, $50, $100 for depending on how much data they provide. For our target audience, that's a lot of money. And then now we can have direct pay to learn. Built in without issuing a token, then the companies will pay, or there'll be separate sponsors. So we don't necessarily need to issue a token for this to work. So there's many different things that we can potentially do. But short term, I don't imagine. I have no plan to issue a new token. Long term, I do want to build in the Web3 economy into this platform throughout. This is a platform that takes kids from when they can speak all the way to when they can work. And after that, I hope to take them until when they're 70, 80 years old. They can continue to learn. And then when they're older, when they have jobs, we can say, hey, now we educated you for 18 years. Now we know you got a job. We will ask, not oblige, say, would you consider donating X% of your income back to this platform for X number of years? 2, 3, 1 years. Even if a small number of them do that, I think we may build actually a sustainable platform longer run. But this is very long term out. So I think this will take 10-something years. But it's OK. I got nothing else to do. So.
CZ, thank you so much for sharing your time. If you would, at the end of this, yes, the man, the legend. I want to get a pic with you with this audience in the background, but final thoughts.
Sure. So just a quick point. I will stand out there somewhere to take selfies, but don't rush all in. Just we'll form a line, and then before you get to the front of the line, you hand your phone to somebody, and then they will take a photo. It's really quick. We've done this many times before. Haven't done it for a while. We'll see. And then we'll get through that really quickly outside. Yeah.
Give it up for CZ.
Let's get a picture.